stand in kilts 3 centuries too soon. With woad upon their faces blue, they howled beneath the moon. A farmer rose to lead the charge with sword of fantasy, but Wallace was a noble son who spoke in fluency. They cast him wild, a rogue unchained, with mud and fury grim, but he grew up with Latin verse and nobleship within. They claimed he loved the future queen who never crossed his path, while England's king died years too late for Mel to do the math. A rebel's tale reshaped in flame with facts left torn apart. The truth was lost beneath the roar and Hollywood called it art. You bled with Wallace, so bleed with we. Through tales unbound by history, we'll ride with myths and wild acclaim, where facts are slain but truths to blame, with kilts and claymores forged from dreams and speeches stitched from distant screams. They marched to Stirling, swords held high, no bridge to be seen. Where has it gone? An extra asked, we cut it from the seam. A bride was seized by royal right from laws that never stood, while Wallace waved a 5-foot blade like firewood from Hollywood. And Irish troops switched sides mid-fight to give the plot a twist, while mooning foes mid-war was somehow too hard to resist. A tryst with France, a moonlit charge, a script of noble lies, but kilts and myths and toddler queens still earn the Oscar cries. They painted war with reckless flair and battle cries untrue, and left the scholars in despair with all they misconstrued. You bled with Wallace, so bleed with me. Through tales unbound by history, we'll ride with myths and wild acclaim, where facts are slain but truths to blame, with kilts and claymores forged from dreams and speeches stitched from distant scars. And then he screams freedom with his final dying breath. It's beautiful, it's raw, cinema gold. He screamed in pain. Also, Longshanks didn't die until 2 years later. But the kilts, the romance, the Irish switching sides, the mooning. The kilts are 300 years off Isabella, was a toddler Stirling had a bridge. That was the whole point. Did you like the sword? It's the size of a surfboard. At least we made Wallace Braveheart. That title belongs to Robert the Bruce. You bled with Wallace, so bleed with me. Through tales unbound by history, we'll ride with myths and wild acclaim, where facts are slain but truths to blame, with kilts and claymores forged from dreams and speeches stitched from distant screams. They bled for stories, not for truth. In kilted myths, divorced from proof, they built a myth on borrowed bones and crowned it with dramatic tone. So raise your swords to tales well spun. The film was wrong, but damn, it's fun. The real Braveheart was